Good morning, and glad to have you here this morning on September 14th. We've got a lot of things we plan to talk about, and we are going to talk about. But obviously today, tropical storm, soon to be perhaps Hurricane Sally, is going to dominate much of the morning and much of what we're going to discuss with you to begin a little bit. We'll take all your questions on that and other topics, but we're going to start off with Sally. Tropical storm Sally at this point is just off the Pensacola coast, heading west-northwest as we continue to look at it. We will be shortly declaring a state of emergency here in the city of Pensacola, so we weren't sure if we're going to have that process done right here before the press conference, or we'll have it done right afterwards, but the press conference. But we will be declaring a state of emergency in the city of Pensacola. The city is continuing to monitor Tropical Storm Sally, and we are in close contact with the Escambia County Emergency Management. We encourage our residents to monitor the storm as well, either through the city's communication and social media information or through the counties. Both of those would be places to go at this particular time. Even if landfall happens west in Louisiana or Mississippi, a significant amount of rainfall is forecast for western northwest Florida. So again, at this particular time, we are not expecting a tremendous wind, while there certainly can be tropical storm force winds, and we do expect that tomorrow. At this particular time, the most severe impact to us will be some rain, as well as we're already seeing right now. Many of you are already seeing what's happening. We're hitting high tide just now, and there's a significant increase in tidal inflow. Some of our roads will perhaps become impassable because of tidal. I know we had an issue. I just came down 9th Avenue just before Bayfront Parkway, and I know that little area right there by Admiral Mason Park. Now the Veterans Park is now there is an area that's underwater right there, and it's not from the rain. That's from tidal. I know that the tide is very close to coming up over, at some point, 17th Avenue under the trestle could close. Again, these are things we'll be monitoring. We'll update you when that happens, but don't be surprised. All of you who've lived here, we understand it's a very low-lying area. The tide is up significantly. Saw that on Bayou Tahar, saw many people's docks underwater. So again, we are experiencing tidal influx at this particular time. You have high tides in the mornings. So between 9 and 10, you'll be having your high tide. So again, you could see significant tidal influx at that particular time. Tropical Storm Sally will likely produce heavy rainfall and gusty winds across northwest Florida on Monday, significantly on Tuesday, and possibly Wednesday. Tropical storm warnings are from Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, South Walton, and Coastal Bay and Coastal Gulf. Tropical storm force winds could begin along northwest Florida as early as later this morning, but it's likely to be this evening. We are expecting 6 to 10 inches of rainfall expected across northwest Florida, with localized amounts being 12 to 18 inches possible. Flash flood watches remain in effect until Thursday morning. Remember, if you approach a roadway, turn around, don't drown. Turn around, don't drown. As little as 6 inches of fast-moving water can knock a car and carry you away as an adult. 12 inches of fast-moving water can carry a small car, and 18 to 24 inches of fast-moving water can carry away large SUV, vans, and trucks. So again, if you see significant water in the road, and again, that at some point will happen at places like the trestle under there, or what we had on 9th Avenue, we will continue to keep you updated. We are working right now. We know our low areas. And we are continuing to work. There are isolated tornadoes are possible in northwest Florida and the Big Bend today, continuing through midweek. Minor coastal flooding is expected at high tides over the next several days in northwest Florida and the Big Bend. 1 to 3 feet of storm surge is expected in these areas, and up to 4 feet in Pensacola. Coastal flood advisories are in effect. High surf, dangerous rip currents, and beach erosion are expected in northwest Florida beaches for the next several days. So again, stay out of the Gulf at this particular time. In fact, I would say most all of our waters at this particular time, I think, are things that you would need to stay away from. We do expect to have significant rain, some wind, and obviously some tidal influence. Even though we're not expected at this point to see the worst of it, that doesn't mean you won't be seeing impacts, and we could have significant rainfall. I don't have to remind you of April 2020. 2014, April 2014, when we had over 20 inches of rain. So again, a significant rainfall could be a significant impact to us. So please stay tuned as we continue. I do want to commend our really a lot of our people, many of you here working with the city, and I appreciate those of you coming in today on an emergency status. We have many things happening at this particular time with our employees. At this time, city employees who are in emergency situations emergency personnel will need to report for the next 3 days as scheduled. And you know who you are. Obviously, at this point, we are working with COVID. We're working with a number of people remotely. We've tried to do that with administrative staff today. Tomorrow, I expect offices at the City of Pensacola to be closed for Tuesday. We're not sure about Wednesday. We'll know more and we'll notify you of what's coming up on Wednesday. But I would say at this particular time, we are looking to be closed on Tuesday for our operations. We will not be picking up garbage on Tuesday. So if you have a Tuesday garbage pickup, we picked up garbage today on Monday. We felt like we could get all the trucks back in before the wind became a problem. But if you have garbage pickup on Tuesday, we will not pick up garbage on Tuesday. We are evaluating Wednesday. We don't know at this particular time, but if you're on Tuesday, everybody will just back up. We're not sure whether you're going to back up 1 or 2 days. We have already worked it out. If we have to take a Saturday, we'll take Saturday and pick up garbage. So right now, if you're on a Tuesday, you'll either be Wednesday, or if Wednesday is still bad, you'll be Thursday, and everybody will slide down. So we could either do a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week for your garbage, or we could do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But you will get garbage pickup this week. We will be there to pick it up. I just don't know which day at this point, but we will not be picking up garbage tomorrow. In fact, we will have all of our regular office hours will be closed tomorrow for the City of Pensacola, and we will have emergency personnel on Tuesday. And at this point we're not sure where we are on Wednesday. There are a couple of decisions that we have made. The CPAC meeting that was going to happen on Tuesday, that has been postponed to the following Tuesday. Obviously, we're canceling all of our events for tomorrow. So we will be taking the CPAC, which is for this Tuesday, and we'll move it to next Tuesday, which I believe is the 22nd. I'm being told the 22nd. So again, it'll be at the same time it normally is, at 5:30 here at Hagler Mason. We've secured the room. We know we can do it at that time, and I appreciate your patience working with us. But obviously, with us closing, and we don't know whether we'll even have power or where we'll be tomorrow at this particular time. So for us, an abundance of caution, we're going to go ahead and move that meeting. We also have a budget meeting scheduled for Wednesday evening. At this point, we're not ready to make decisions on Wednesday, but because of such an important event like budget and not knowing whether we would be capable, the good news is obviously everybody will be attending remotely, but we don't know if you'll have power, or not to say that our whole hope is that none of us experience power outages, but knowing and planning and knowing we don't know where we'll be on Wednesday, we've gone ahead and decided to postpone that. We are right now looking at scheduling it for Thursday night. Obviously, everything could change as we move forward with the weather, but the budget hearing for this Wednesday, that's on the 16th, is looking to be rescheduled for the 17th. And we will let you know what happens with that as we get closer, but we definitely are not going to do it on Wednesday, looking to schedule it on Thursday. So did want to make that announcement as well. The public, again, will be able to participate virtually. So again, assuming that we have power and connections and everything's good Thursday, we feel that we'll be able to do that. Again, no trash service tomorrow. We will make an announcement, follow what's going on social media. We will figure out whether we can still do it on Wednesday. If we can't do it on Wednesday, we will do trash service on Thursday, but everybody will get a pickup. Tuesday would become whatever day we go in, and then it will just follow from that. Again, we'll either do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday trash pickup, or we'll do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I really appreciate the work out there that John Pittman and his guys are doing in sanitation. I very much appreciate them getting out today, getting everybody that had Monday pickups taken care of, and they're going to make sure everybody gets a trash pickup this week. We will not be doing yard waste this week because of the challenges we have. We'll come back and do yard waste again next week and be able to get that done as well. So these are some expectations for services, emergency services. Obviously, our police, our fire, our public works individuals will still be working. I really want to give a kudos out to our public works workers. They've been working hard, our recreation people in Parks and Rec as well. They've been securing sites over the weekend, making sure that everything we have, any construction sites, any other type of sites that we have, that they are secured. They're also been taking down, I know I talked with Derek yesterday, they were already in the process of taking down stormwater ponds, pumping them if they had any water in them, and then also working in clogged areas. We know we have problems where lines can get overrun, so they've been working on that already. However, there are some areas in the city, much like I just talked about at 9th Avenue, where once the tide comes up high enough and we get a high tide, there's nothing we can do to move the water. So again, these are some areas you just need to be aware of. Certainly we have some of those down on South DeVillers here. We have the one on 9th Avenue, potential at the trestle. At this point, there was no water at the trestle when I was coming in, but I'm just telling you all to be aware. We've communicated with our police department. Our police officers, while they're out patrolling, will be going by areas we know to historically have flooding problem. And they're going to be updating. They're going to be updating Public Works if they need to get out there and do anything. Obviously, if we get to a point where the wind gets high enough, we can't get out there. We'll have to get out there as soon as it dies down. At this particular time, the biggest challenge to us is we think it will be rain. We also think it'll be just simply duration, the amount of time that this thing could take to move through. It's not expected to be a fast-moving storm, and so at this particular time, it should be fairly slow in what it's doing. So again, these are some things that we're working through. We will continue to be in touch. There will be, I don't expect any regular city services open tomorrow. Emergency operations will still be in place. Wednesday, we'll let you know more about where we are Wednesday once we know what's going to happen with the storm. And but it is very possible that we won't be back open again on a number of things until Thursday. So just realizing where we are. Things like the CPAC is going to be postponed one week, and things like the budget is very likely that it's going to be postponed from Wednesday night for sure. It could on the 16th. It could very easily be looking to reschedule for Thursday, the 17th at the same time. Again, it's virtual, so we hope you'll be able to attend and make that adjustment. Otherwise, we do have a number of things that are happening. We do have the mayor's cleanup is scheduled to happen on September 26th at a portion of Scenic Heights and Spanish Trail area. Neighborhood cleanups allow the city sanitation customers to clean up an area to leave eligible items on the curb for free pickup. There are 2 neighborhood cleanups left in 2020. Visit cityofpensacola.com for more information. So we hope that you will have a chance to look at that. Did want to talk to you a little bit about COVID. Obviously, today was supposed to be a big day of COVID, and we had a lot of things planned to talk to you today about what's happening related to COVID. Obviously, Sally, tropical storm, potentially Hurricane Sally, is preempted a lot of that discussion. But at least from COVID at this particular time, there are about 11,867 positive cases that have happened in COVID-19 in Escambia County. 10,822 of them are residents. And our last state update shows about 5.64% positive test rate for September 12th. That follows 3.72 for September 11th and 4.83 for September 10th. Hospitalizations continued to be in a downward trend. Over the weekend, we had on September 12th, we had 81. And then yesterday we had 73, which sort of marks down getting below 75, which was sort of a targeting point, which we were looking for discussions about coming forward on mask ordinance and state of emergency. And so after this, still later today at 2 o'clock, I do have a call with hospitals, although obviously a lot of our stuff will be transitioning to Sally. But we will be looking at talking to them today still and going forward. We have a placeholder on there if we choose to remove the state of emergency for COVID. Again, right now we find ourselves under 2 state of emergencies. We'll be under a state of emergency for COVID, seeing if that will be expiring on the 24th. And then, of course, we will be in a short time temporary state of emergency for Sally that we'll be declaring after this press conference. So again, at this point, we have that. We are still working on our plan for community center reopening. We are looking for a reopening of community center resource centers with a soft opening for Monday, May 28th, and full opening on Monday, October 5th. That will include after-school programs. Again, at this point, we're shooting for our school programming and really full up and running by October 5th, that Monday. While we had anticipated a soft opening Monday the 28th, obviously the impact of Sally this week, I'll look for Brian Cooper, and we'll know more next week, but that could get pushed back to sometime later as well. But we had planned to do some things, getting the buildings a little bit open, planning for it, but not full-time operational until October 5th. During the soft opening, we were planning to continue our meal and mass distribution and have 1 to 2 people in the fitness room and allow small social distance meetings with masks. Again, tentatively, we're still looking at that, but stay tuned for updates. Obviously, Sally could impact that if Parks and Recs feels that they're not going to be ready to make the September 28th meeting. But again, we're working on that. Mass distribution. The City of Pensacola has restocked masks to distribute to the public. Mass distribution will not take place today due to weather or tomorrow, but masks will be available and free to the public at several of our community centers, probably either starting Wednesday or Thursday. Just follow us as we continue to make decisions related to Tropical Storm Sally. Location, days, and times for mass distribution when it does happen would be the Bayview Senior Resource Center. Would be Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 12:30 to 3 p.m. Cobb Resource Center Monday through Friday would be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Fricker Resource Center would be Monday through Friday 9 a.m. to noon, and Gold Point Resource Center would be Monday to Thursday from 3 to 5. Sanders Beach Corinne Jones Resource Center Tuesday through Thursday from 11 to 1, and Woodland Heights Resource Center Monday through Friday 3 to 5. Again, that's normal. That would be normal during the week. This week, we will not be doing any mass distribution either today or tomorrow, and we'll make decisions and let you know what's going to happen on Wednesday once we know where we are with Sally. Masks are available on first come, first serve as long as we have supplies. Masks are not available to business owners to distribute to their employees. These are strictly for citizens to come. Each household will receive 1 machine washable mask per person with a limit of 5 masks per family. So again, we will be up there and we'll be looking for you. We'll have mass distributions. Those will be the times. And again, we expect those to be distributed and ready to go for distribution once we know where we are out of Sally. Again, no distribution today or tomorrow. I'm not sure where we go on Wednesday. We'll make that call as we move forward. We also have the census. This is just another reminder that the census is coming up at the end of September, but the deadline is fast approaching. Our goal in Escambia County and the City of Pensacola is 80%. Currently, the City of Pensacola sits at 67.5%. Escambia County is at 63.4%. Please complete your census today at my2020census.gov. It takes about 10 minutes to complete. We really need that information. It helps us know what representation we have in Congress, our federal monies that are distributed. It's very important for Florida and for Northwest Florida. it also influences, the representation we have in the Florida legislature. So all of these things are vitally important for Northwest Florida, and we hope you will take time to fill it out. Again, this is sort of where we are under Sally at this particular time. As is said, shortly after this press conference, we will be declaring a state of emergency here for the city. We have moved again, all of our operations tomorrow will be closed at the city. We're not sure about where we are Wednesday with timing. We will make that discussion and let you know as we move forward. But at this particular time, there will be no garbage pickup tomorrow. And we're not sure about Wednesday, but there will be garbage pickup for all of you on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday pickups at some time during the week. It could be either one day or 2 days later. The CPAC has been moved from this Tuesday to the following Tuesday, same time, same location in Hagler Mason at 5:30. So again, on the 22nd, we'll be doing that. Budget hearing is going to be canceled for Wednesday, and we are looking for. I'm being told no. Some people are shaking hands. I guess it's not canceled. It is moved, or we're still not sure what's going to happen on that. So again, I'm thinking that we will end up had a lot of heads shaking at me for budget, but I'm being told we're not sure what may be happening. But again, I wouldn't. It could easily happen that we end up having to move this to Thursday. So we're still working on that, and apparently they have not been able to complete it. But we're actually looking to what's going to happen for the budget hearing. We are definitely move the CPAC meeting will definitely move back a week, and because of the way we have 5 Tuesdays in the month of September, that really is not going to change what they can get done. So they should be able to still keep moving on all their work, and we look forward to that. And I'm getting a white piece of paper, which on Keith's thing does not show up at all. So
I'll just chime in. I was going to give a note about this anyway. So with the budget meeting, sorry, I don't know why it's echoing. With the budget meeting, we may not be able to reschedule because of state requirements. So just stay tuned on that.
Okay. All right. Well, we will continue to keep you abreast as to where we are related to budget. So as I told you, we're trying to still figure out what that is. We understand Wednesday could be challenging. We're not ready to make the call yet on budget, but this is sometimes what happens with live discussion. So that is still working, but this shows you some of the things that we're doing. Again, one of the things I feel incredibly confident about is outside of the city, we're having a lot of issues one way or the other, whether it's COVID, whether it's Tropical Storm or Hurricane Sally. But inside, the people working, the men and women who work here at the City of Pensacola, I have the utmost confidence in. And I know they're going to be prepared to deal with whatever Sally sends us. Please follow their instructions. If we end up having issues with flooding related to either rain or surge, we want you to listen to what they're talking about. If you live in low-lying areas, begin to think about what you need to do, because it is very likely we could have significant rainfall up to as much as 18 inches over the next 3 days. So again, please stay tuned to us and listen to what's going on. But I'm open to answering questions, and I'll look forward to Casey, see what kind of questions we got.
Yep. Sorry, echo would go away. The first question is from Randy Wood at Channel 3. Are any streets expected to be blocked ahead of any expected flooding? If so, which areas do you expect that to happen in?
Randy, at this particular time, I don't have anything. I know we've discussed a lot of our low-lying areas. There's 2 things that are going to happen. There's going to be rain flooding, which potentially we know roads that have those problems. Right now, we're not seeing any problem. But at high tide, this is again high tide right now between 9 and 10 this morning, high tide tomorrow morning and Wednesday morning, we could have significant issues and closures at roads. Right now, I told you there was already water on the road on 9th Avenue. That's not from rain. That's from the tidal increase. Probably the same thing is happening on South DeVillers because we have that same problem. These are typically the places at this point we were not as close to having a problem on at the trestle. But yes, we will update you when that happens, and we'll try to put it out on our social media. Casey's here to be able to and Kimmy to be able to communicate to both you, the press, as well as our citizens. We will communicate that information out when it happens, but at this particular time, I don't know of any roads that are closed, even though I do know we do have some water on some roads like 9th Avenue right by Admiral Mason Park. But I mean, that's south of Romana, so you know there's not really much of an impact except unless you're trying to go from Bayfront over to Chase or Gregory. That's really the only place there was a problem, but I'm sure we have some of our places with that are storm drain related are going to have problems at this particular point with the tide being so high.
Yeah, and I will add that Public Works is telling me now that the south end of DeVillers will be blocked off today. But in the press release we sent out yesterday, we do have a link to our road closures map, which is done by PPD. I'll post a link to that on our social media too, because that's in real time, so you can actually see if there are any road closures in the city. And then the county has a similar one too.
This just simply shows, you know, what I talked about earlier. Our staff has been working even over the weekend to get this ready, and so we are aware what we already know, where places will have problems, and we're already trying to address that. And then finally, I guess I did say, we will let you know if there are any closures. Obviously, at the port or airport, we get to a certain amount of wind, we'd have to do that. At this particular time, I don't have a specific closure from, but we expect both of them to close if we get to a certain point in the weather. We will notify that through our social media and through PIO if we have any problems. So we will do that. All right, any other questions?
Yes. And also 17th will probably close sometime this evening, but I think most locals probably expect that. So just stay tuned. But the next question is from Andrew McKay at News Radio. Hospitalizations are below 75. Do you expect to ask council to rescind the mask order? We talked about that. That was kind of my number. The hospitals sort of were more at about 50. We were going to talk today. That is still the expectation. There is a placeholder on the September 24th meeting. What probably will happen more than anything, Andrew, is we'll just probably take the state of emergency and probably let it lapse and just if we need to come back, we'll reinstitute it and be able to pull from there. We don't have an ability to have a mask ordinance if we don't have a state of emergency. So there are a number of different ways we could look to do that. With that said, we do fully expect, we do have the ability, and I've communicated to the council that it's my expectation as mayor to still require masks in city facilities. So we will still be requiring masks here, even if the governor opens up the ability to have meetings inside city hall. We will end up still wearing masks inside City Hall. So we have the ability to do that even without the other part. But as far as the mask ordinance, if we get rid of the state of emergency, which we're probably looking at allowing it to lapse in September 24th, I do have the 2 o'clock call today with the hospitals, and at that point, after we have a chance to talk with them, we'll make that decision. Real quick, Keith, you were showing me something about the port. You said the port closes.
I'm sorry. Yes, we just now received notice the port closes at noon today.
Okay, port closes at noon. So and then airport, we'll know more from Matt as we hear. Flights are still able to go in and out, so they will still go in and out until we get to a point where weather prevents them from going in and out. But at this particular time, the airport is still open and functioning, and we will allow you to know when that's going to be. We don't at this point, we have not been told by the airport what there is the expectation of if they would have to close down or when. but we will relay that to you when we have it. But at this particular time, we're continuing to keep things open, and we have certainly our emergency crews, and we still have regular staff working, but working remotely today mostly. We were doing that anyway with COVID, so it just made sense for us to take this Monday. A lot of people had kids to stay home with. We tried to juggle schedules as much as available to allow them to work remotely today. Tomorrow, everything but emergency operations will be closed, and we don't know where we'll be on Wednesday yet. We'll assess that and let you know more tomorrow.
This is from Jeremy at Weekly. With the city given the go-ahead on removing the Confederate monument, can you outline the next steps and an estimated timeline?
We have a bid out. So while we had a quote, we were told, I guess, probably a couple of weeks ago that we had to get a formalized bid. And so we do have that process in works. We do expect to have that back by the 24th. And at that point, to be able to make a decision as to where we go. Obviously, our goal was to get that in and then hear where we were on the court case and a variety of other things. By then, we should know. Obviously, everything should be available for us to move forward if at that time we get the bid and move forward. So I do expect that. If it had been this week, we would have had to postpone in the middle of this stuff because of the pandemic. I mean, not because of Sally. So again, Sally was probably going to change our plans anyways, which means it's just as good. Next week, we'll get the information and we'll know more what to do, and hopefully we won't be in the middle of a tropical storm or a hurricane.
And this is also from Jeremy. Can you comment on the discussion in the CPAC meeting regarding reallocating funds away from the PPD and towards other programs?
Again, we've had several people talk to us. We had our first budget hearing. We approved the first tentative budget. We're going for the second one. Again, from our standpoint, what we continue to see with our police and what's doing, we've actually increased funding for the police. We're putting forward initiatives that were even discussed at CPAC about trying to deal with mental health for police officers to make sure that we don't have a case where we've created issues ourselves with our police officers. So we are working with them. I really appreciate Tommy Leiter putting this initiative forward. But again, the number that we have on there, we want to continue to be at that number. We keep getting up, and then we have some people leave. We bring on some people, but for the most part, we're continuing to keep at our same level of police force. But we are adding additional services, and we're certainly improving mental health for our police officers and our firefighters. We believe it's an investment in our employees, and if they're in better working condition and we're taking care of them properly, they're going to take care of our citizens, and that's what we're looking to do.
This is from Randy at Channel 3. Are there any sand locations in the city?
The county does sand, and so at this point, we would be looking to hear from them. As I said before, we continue to follow their lead. They're the lead typically on emergency services. We're continuing to work with them. We will be declaring our own state of emergency here shortly, right after this press conference. But again, those kind of services are always through the county, and we will relay out that information when we have it from the county, so that if our citizens need to get sandbags, they can do that.
And I'd have to double check, but I believe that was already out there in the release that was put out yesterday. So I think the county has those locations available. This is from John at Studio 850. Are city shelters opening ahead of the storm?
We have no city shelters. We work with the county. The county has shelters within the city. Obviously, the Bay Center is perhaps the largest center we have. Just like we talked about with Laura and Marco, we're really asking people to think about before they go to a shelter. Think about a friend or a relative they may have that is outside of an area that's either for flood or wind conditions. And if you could go visit with them first because of COVID, obviously we don't want to put a bunch of people in an area that we don't know what's going on with COVID. So we're trying to limit our numbers in shelter. We would ask you to first think about a relative or a friend that's in a safe area. If you don't have that, then absolutely there are shelters. Escambia County has the shelters, and I think all of that information, Casey, should be on our PIO report and press release. So all that information on the counties, we will fully cooperate with the county, and they do have a number of shelters that are within the city.
Yeah, I don't think they've opened any at this time, but if they did, we would definitely get that information out too. Next question is from Jim at the News Journal. This is likely to be the largest rain event since April 2014. Do you think the improvements made to the city's stormwater infrastructure will be able to handle this event? And can you talk about what kinds of actions crews are taking to prep stormwater drains, etc.?
Well, yes. I mean, what we said earlier, I feel more confident in city infrastructure. I think the question is, what case do we get to a point? I mean, there's only a certain amount of water that even they're built to, as we saw that in 2014. With that said, again, I have the utmost confidence. We did a lot of work over the weekend. Derek and his crews were out clearing places out to make sure that water should flow, stormwater should flow through all of our places, the places we know we've had challenges before. So we were doing that with Laura and Marco. We've done it again in advance of this, in advance of Sally. So from that standpoint, I think we've gone out and tried to do that as much as we could. We've brought down water. We've got a number of ponds that are either new or significantly enhanced, and the expectation, whether it's in East Hill off 12th Avenue or the large pond that's off of the airport, we do expect to have significantly better drainage coverage than we did in 2014. And even in 2014, we had drainage coverage that rivals most communities. I mean, most communities aren't prepared to deal with 10 to 11 inches of storm, but we've been able to accomplish that. Obviously, as we start moving to 18 to 24 inches, that's where we start having some concern. But over a couple of days, in the ability to perk on some of these things, obviously water table is going to be important. Things like the tidal influences. I mean, all of those things will have impact. But overall, we feel as confident as we've ever felt in our capacity. But with that said, we start getting over 24 inches, it's going to be challenging. So at this point, we're working it. We got a good system that we're trying to make sure we've got our police officers out there that are patrolling. If they see areas that are problems, they're going to talk back to our public works and try to get them to be aware of what's going on so that we can respond as quickly as possible. So, we're prepared, and I feel very good about the team of individuals that we have.
All right, and I don't see any new questions.
All right. At this point, stay safe. We will continue to look to update you. At this point, we look to try to be on air with our typical COVID meeting on for Facebook Live on Wednesday. Obviously, we'll know more where we are on Wednesday and what happens. I would say Wednesday is kind of a tentative day, but we're still shooting for everything happening on Wednesday. Tuesday is going to be closed. There will be no garbage pickup on Tuesday. We will have, other than emergency operations, be the only thing open in the city on Tuesday. And we hope we're able to get back Wednesday. We'll let you know more what's going to happen Wednesday. Either way, we'll make sure that we come out on Thursday. One way or another, you're going to have garbage pickup this week. I don't know if it'll be pushed back 1 day or 2 days. So please just follow what's going on with the city. Stay close to our emergency information sessions and follow us on social media. We'll let you know what's going to happen. Thank you very much.